Hey everyone, Simon here from Top Tennis Training, and in this video we're going to take a look at the 3 biggest footwork mistakes players around the entire world are doing and how to correct them. Now before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you get our latest videos as soon as we release them. So common mistake number 1 when it comes to footwork and movement is players not split stepping when the opponent makes contact with the ball. So the split step is basically that step and it's giving your body a signal to move in any direction. Now, the reason we have the split step is it allows us to be balanced when we're waiting to see where we have to move to, and it allows us to push off the ground almost like a springboard in any direction. If we don't have the split step, we'll be slower getting to that ball. We won't be as fast as we possibly can be. So the split step is basically where you have the feet just about 1.5 shoulder widths apart. Some players have it a bit wider. Federer has quite a wide base when he does his split step. And you're jumping onto the front of the feet, so the balls of the feet. You're not jumping onto the toes only, you're not jumping onto the heels. The common error is players doing a split step like this. I always make a joke about it when I see someone doing that. It looks like a sumo wrestler getting ready for the fight. You feel the calf muscles, the back of the lower leg contracting when you are doing the split step. This is why tennis players have really big calf muscles in general, because they're always on the balls of their feet, on the front of their feet. If I'm on my heels and I now want to push this way, I firstly have to lift my heel off the ground, and then I have to turn and then push off. Whereas if I'm doing a split step, as soon as I land, I can then twist my foot and move off into that position. So it's important that we have the split step. The timing of the split step is around the time of contact on your opponent's side. So when he or she makes contact with the ball, you're doing a little split step, and it's going to look like this. You've got your split step, and that's common mistake number 1 and how to correct it. Every time your opponent makes contact, you want to be split stepping as often as possible. Sometimes it's impossible, you just won't have the time to get back in position, but when you do have time and when you are in position, make sure you're split stepping. This goes for the return. This goes for when you come up to the net for the volley. And on the baseline. Now it's important to note that there are different types of split steps, and this is something that we cover inside our footwork course. So if you want more advice and more help on improving your split step, go and check out the course. I'll leave the link under this video in the comment section. Now common mistake number 2 when it comes to footwork, players using a side step to recover. Now the side step is a good way to recover if you have a short distance to cover. So if I've hit a backhand and now I have to just go 1 or 2 steps, I might use the side shuffle. But I see players using this all the time, and it makes them really slow, and it also fatigues the inner muscles of the leg. So the common error is players hitting a wider ball somewhere in the tram lines and now using this side shuffle to recover. So now we're going to count how many steps it takes me to go from the sideline to the center using the side shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 3.5. Now I'm going to use the crossover step. You could also use the cross behind, so it will cover both, but the crossover is the one that's used most commonly on both tours. The reason we use the crossover is because it allows us the biggest distance while still facing forwards. One, 2, or 1.5. So you cover much more distance with that crossover than the side steps. So those steps, once again, if the ball has been closer to me and I don't have much distance to recover with, all I have to do is then hit, and that side shuffle will be perfect. if I have a wider ball and I have more distance to recover with, then I need to use that crossover. So I'm going for a wide forehand. Now I've got that crossover into a sidestep, and that acts also as a split step, or I can do two crossovers if I have to cover the other side of the court. Now it all depends on where I'm recovering, but that will be covered in step number 3. Now if you want more help with that crossover step, the cross behind step, which is the opposite of the crossover. So we have the crossover here, and we have the cross behind here, where my right foot now goes behind the left foot. So cross over and cross behind. Now both are going to be used in different situations. Once again, this is something that we cover much more in our footwork course, and I'll leave the link below for you guys to go and check it out. And common error number 3 is players recovering to the wrong position on the court. Now it's all about court positioning. It's all about where you recover, cutting down your opponent's best shots, cutting down the opponent's most likely shots. If I recover to the wrong position, I'm exposed by giving my opponent more space to hit into. So the common thing that players are taught when they're starting out in tennis, and even more advanced players, I see coaches teaching this, is recover back to the center. Now it depends on the shot. The only time you really recover back to the center is when you've hit the ball right into the center. At all other times you'll recover to a different position on the court. But I see a lot of players hitting a forehand cross court, a backhand cross court, or a forehand down the line, and they're recovering into the center. Now this is causing them to have a lot of space to cover on the next shot, and their opponent is able to hit into the space because they're not in the right position. So at the core level, we have 3 main recovery positions when we're on the baseline. Like I said before, if I've hit the ball right into the center of the court, I'll recover into the center. Now if I hit my forehand cross court or my backhand down the line, I would recover to this first line, around that spot. The wider I've hit my shot, the more angle I've hit with, especially on that cross-court forehand, the less I'll recover. If I've hit my forehand down the line or my backhand cross-court, I'll recover to here. So once again, if I hit my backhand cross, I'll recover to here. If I hit my backhand into the center, I'll recover into this position. If I hit my backhand down the line, I'll now recover over to this. It's the same on the forehand. The reason we recover to these different positions is because in general we want to be in the middle of our opponent's 2 best possible shots. Now if my opponent hits a cross-court forehand, for instance, and I've recovered to the center, that ball is going to be moving away from me, and it's always going to be moving away from me because the line is coming across, so I'm always going to be chasing it. If my opponent hits down the line, it's always going to be either coming straight in that line or it's going to be coming in towards me, so it's much easier for me to cover that down the line shot, but the distance is shorter, so it's going to be quicker. So I still have to be aware of that down the line shot. That's why we have the different recovery positions. We're recovering to the middle position of our opponent's 2 best possible shots. In general, the best shot will be that cross-court angle moving you away. And that's why if I hit a forehand cross-court, I wouldn't recover right back to here because all that court is exposed. Whereas if I hit my forehand cross and I go to here, now I can cover that cross-court or the down the line shot. Now that's another reason why the cross-court shot becomes an easier option when we are in a point, because we have less distance to cover on that recovery. This is all something that we cover much more in depth in our footwork course, so click the link below and you can watch the free videos from that course. Now if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below as well. Which part of your footwork do you struggle with the most, and what would you like to improve the most when it comes to movement and footwork? Thanks for watching the video guys. Signing off, Simon from TTT. All the best.